part 2 of King Ghidorah versus the Mega Kaiju. I know a lot of you have been requesting it and for a while, and now that we've seen the movie, and I know everyone's probably seen it by now, we can go through a bunch of spoilers, so spoiler warning. But in today's matchup, I'm still defending the Mega Kaiju.
And I'm obviously defending King Ghidorah.
The Mega Kaiju is standing at right around 500 feet tall and is weighing around 7,800 tons.
And just like I stated in the first matchup video, King Ghidorah is 521 feet tall and weighs 141,000 tons.
Basically in this matchup, since we already went over these two in the first match, this is part 2. Basically, Jake is going to bring up the new things about the movie, and then since there's nothing new about the Mega Kaiju, he's going to bring up the new points that different things that happen in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and then I'm going to try to counter them.
The biggest thing for the movie that I think that really evolves on my argument with King Ghidorah is during kind of the middle of the movie, Godzilla rips off one of the heads of King Ghidorah, I guess the left head of it, and a few minutes later, he's on top of this volcano and it grows back, which is really a huge moment because it kind of signifies, and they also talk about it afterwards, that he's not even from this world. And he's just from outer space, which just adds a whole other element, meaning like this thing is really difficult to kill, and the only thing that kills this thing is just Godzilla basically like an atomic fire mode. That's the only thing that could really kill this thing, and he was still battling even though he had one head at the end. So I think the fact that his head grew back is a huge advantage, meaning he can lose a head and still grow it back and be just as strong afterwards.
Yeah, obviously the head growing back thing was very shocking in the theater, and if you remember back to part 1, I did use that as kind of a way that the Mega Kaiju would win, is that all he has to do is just take out one of the heads, and then it'll be discombobulated and not be able to win. But obviously with that change, that does change things a lot, but I still think the Mega Kaiju is very similar in the way that he has the 3 brains, so essentially he's just as hard to kill as King Ghidorah, and I still think that while that will make it a little more difficult, it did take a significant amount, though, for that head to grow back. A significant amount of time. Not too long, but a significant amount of time to where it would still be effective to take out one of those heads. And I do still think that the Mega Kaiju will be able to do good in that aspect, even though it does make it a lot more difficult.
You know, other than just overall how he was really just kind of dominating Godzilla in this film, there was a scene where Godzilla was getting the first attack in Antarctica once King Ghidorah is out of the ice. Godzilla like fires his atomic breath at King Ghidorah, and he's able to like elude his attack and then like dodge it, and then shoot back the gravity beams back at Godzilla and pushed him all the way over an edge of a cliff. And also you see a couple of shots. This is kind of another thing to note about the gravity beams. Just people getting off of a helicopter just disintegrate when this stuff hits you. And I know that's humans, but that's definitely a thing I didn't know about this gravity beams at all. So just the fact that the heads were able to kind of work together. Like there's a couple times where they're like leaning down, and you have to like hit each other, like hey, let's all like.
Dude, that is the thing. That is one minor positive in my part, because yes, the heads, they did seem to work pretty well together for most of the movie, but yes, in that one scene you did see that they were a little confused. They were kind of talking back and forth, and that's where the Mega Kaiju's one single mind. And we'll be able to cooperate a lot better than that.
The King Ghidorah really had just woken up out of the ice for who knows how long, and they were just trying to get back into the swing of things. And after that moment, they really were not having any issues the rest of the film.
Yeah, and while the gravity beams did disintegrate people, and I thought that was kind of shocking in the movie, the Mega Kaiju's growl alone can send cars flying. Like I mentioned in part 1, the Mega Kaiju's growl sends cars flying down the street. And is very impressive. It cannot be ignored.
Yeah, but what's worse, cars blowing on the street, or the fact that when King Ghidorah takes flight, a hurricane forms around him, and it's not just a hurricane. There's tornadoes, there's lightning. It's just like gravity beams, just like flashing everywhere, lightning.
It's nothing the Mega Kaiju couldn't handle.
This scene here, when they see a hurricane rolling in towards wherever Rodan's at, I think Mexico, they're like. They see King Ghidorah's like little like icons show up at the last second, like oh, King Ghidorah's in the middle of it. The military guy even says that there's new catastrophes and weather events that they don't even have names for yet. But then another big thing was King Ghidorah was able to pick up Godzilla, which Godzilla is a huge being. He picked him up, flew him up into like almost halfway into outer space, and then just dropped him back to the atmosphere, and was able to basically almost kill Godzilla a couple of times where he was basically down, and if it wasn't for the humans kind of distracting him and Mothra coming in and distracting and stuff like that, he might have actually been dead in this film.
So as far as final thoughts go, why I still think the Mega Kaiju would win this fight. Obviously, it'd be a very tough matchup with all the things we just listed. King Ghidorah being able to grow back his heads is a game changer, I feel, in one aspect, but I think that the Mega Kaiju has a bunch of armored layers, has the spikes on the front, has an amazing bite force, and with the tails, they're just way too deadly. And obviously, you can't just go for the heads right away. It would still be effective. But I think the Mega Kaiju would still just go right after the body of King Ghidorah and rip it open, and you saw that Godzilla was able to kill him that way. So that's what the Mega Kaiju is going to have to do. He obviously can absorb the energy, can absorb the gravity beams if he needs to, and use that to his power. And I still think with the dangerous tails, and the Mega Kaiju is just going to still get this win and just go straight for the body of King Ghidorah and just rip it open.
Just kind of in short, just discovering that King Ghidorah could regenerate his heads, learning he's from another world, another planet somewhere. He's from outer space. The teamwork of the heads, just the way he's able to move around very well, eluding the atomic breath from Godzilla, flying and just causing hurricane-like winds and weather events everywhere whenever he takes flight. And he just does a lot of damage in this film. He easily takes out Rodan. He easily takes out Godzilla a few times. And to also add, with the U.S. Air Force and military helping Godzilla out, which, I mean, they didn't do much in that battle. But he's still taking fire. He literally disintegrated Mothra. I mean, to be honest, the only thing that really killed King Ghidorah in the end was Fire Godzilla. Well, King Ghidorah win this fight because of all those reasons, and I think the flying ability and his just overall size and attitude, it would really just win this fight. It would obviously be a decent fight, but I feel like the gravity beams would definitely do some damage, and if he picked him up at all and just dropped him out of the atmosphere, I would definitely like to see how the Mega Kaiju would react to that.
Yeah, but make sure you let us know down below who you think will win this fight. Obviously, I saw a lot of people in the comments thinking that the King Ghidorah would just dominate this fight and it wouldn't even be a matchup. Some people thought it was hilarious that we even made this matchup, but make sure you let us know down below who you think would win in this matchup.
And there may even be a part 3.
Yeah, there may be a part 3. Make sure you let us know down below who you think would win, and thanks for watching.